Hello, this is Professor Teresa Pelkie. This is Session 4, Part 3, Sorting when null values are present. We'll finish up this session by looking at what happens when you use an order by clause and there are null values in the order by column list. On this slide, you can see that we are running a select statement that specifies a column list. The four columns that are to be retrieved are name, which is the country name, continent, region, and independence year, which has an abbreviated column name. The order by clause specifies three columns: continent, region, and independence year. In the definition for the country table, the independence year column is defined as a null capable column. It makes sense to allow null for this column since there are some countries that are not considered to be independent. When used like this for a year value, null indicates that there is no value that can be assigned. You can see the results of using order by with a null capable column. In this example, data is sorted first by the continent, then the region, then the independence year. When the default sort order of ascending is used, the null values for the independence year appear first in the sorted order. Notice that null appears before a negative value. China and Japan are shown as having negative independence years, or BC years. The two countries with null values appear before the BC years. You can use the descending keyword with a null capable column. This is the same select statement and the same order by as on the previous slide. This time, the independence year sort order will be in descending sequence. In this example, the countries with null values will appear last in the sort. Descending sequence means that values will be sorted from the greatest to the least. We're going to take a look at another issue that you might run into when using order by. Take a look at the continent column in the result grid. Now look at the order by clause. In that clause, continent is listed as the first column, meaning that it has the first sort order. That is, the data in the result grid is to be sorted first into continent order, then within continent by region, then within region by independence year. You can see that the continent column data is not sorted into the expected order. Given the data shown here, South America, Antarctica, and Oceania, Antarctica should have appeared below Oceania. What is going on here? Is the database broken? It turns out that the continent column is defined in the table as an enum data type. An enum data type is defined with an enumeration or list of valid values that can be used with the column. In this enumeration, the continent names are listed in this order: Asia, Europe, North America, Africa, Oceania, Antarctica, South America. That list is not in alphabetical order. When you define a column as an enum data type, you are not required to specify the values in any particular order. Now, there are a lot of issues with using an enum data type, but we won't go into those issues in this course. The enum data type is not defined in the SQL standard, so if you are working with something other than MySQL, it may not be available. The important thing to understand is that MySQL does have an enum data type, and you might have to work with it in your applications. There is a workaround that lets you sort an enum data type column into the expected order. The solution is to use the cast function as shown in the order by clause on this slide. In this example, the cast function is used to cast or convert the continent column values to character data types. Now, it is true that the values that were specified for the enum, which you saw on the previous slide, are character data. For example, you saw values like Asia, Africa, and North America. Without going into a lot of details about how MySQL works internally, it is sufficient to say that MySQL stores a value in an enum column as an integer. So in the continent enum, Asia was defined as the first value in the enum, so it is assigned the numeric value 1. Europe is assigned the value 2, and so on. So if you want to use an order by on an enum column and end up with a natural order sort, that is, you want to see data sorted in the order you would expect, you have to tell MySQL to convert the stored integer value back to the character value. The character value is then used in the order by sort. As shown on this slide, the data is now displayed in the result grid in the order that you would expect, given that we asked for the continent to be sorted in descending order. In the next session, we'll start working with the select statement's where clause. Using the where clause, you'll be able to include just the data that you want.